Okay, working on this 2006 HHR here. We've got a charging problem, and what you'll notice if you're having an issue with this, your battery keeps going dead, and you'll also pop up, you'll get a battery light on your dash, and basically you won't be able to keep it charged. Now you could have a wiring problem. More than likely it's going to be an alternator problem. So I'll show you what we're looking at here. Okay, so if you come in here, I've got it running. It'll flash up across through this screen right here. Check the charge system. You'll also get like a battery indicator. That was on here. I don't know where it went. So we're going to go ahead and check it out. Oh, there we go. There's the battery. You'll see that as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it back here. Okay, so we're going to come back here to the back, and if your battery's totally dead, you won't be opening it this way. You'll have to crawl, put your back seats down and get to it, because this works off of the battery. So hopefully that's not the case. Now you'll need to lift this piece up. It kind of has these rubber grommets. Just give it a little tug, and or get under here, and this will pull out of here. You can just kind of tilt it to the side and pull this piece up and out of the way. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. Now you'll also have, this is where your spare tire's at, you'll have a little part that twists onto here. I've taken all this out. I'm going to pull this piece out of here at this point and set it aside. Okay, and let's say you'll have your spare tire in here, and usually you have to wind up removing it to get enough room to do anything. Now I have a different battery in here because the other one was dead and I'm charging it. So I've got a good battery in here, and I'm going to get my multimeter and I'll show you what we're looking at. Okay, and these multimeters are pretty handy. You can set it over here onto the volts side and put it on like 20 volts. You can also set it down here. I'm going to be using this one. Okay, so we just connected the negative. Just pay attention. Put your black on the negative, your red on the positive here. And if you're getting a good enough connection, we should be getting close to 12 volts. It's a little bit under, but I may not have the best connection here. But now I'm going to go ahead and we'll crank the car up. You can see where it's at. It's almost at 11.95. It's almost close to the 12 volts. We'll crank it up and we'll see what it does. Okay, we got the car cranked up and running. You can see that it's pulling it down, so we're not getting any charge. We should be over 13, close to 14 we're putting out, so we can tell it's pulling a draw on it. So we're not getting any charge. So we've determined that got an alternator problem, so we're going to be replacing the alternator on here. Okay, the first thing we're going to do before we start working on this alternator, we want to come in here and we want to disconnect our negative. We want to make sure we have this negative disconnected. And again, make sure to keep your trunk up unless you want to be crawling through the back to get to your battery, because you won't be able to open it with the battery disconnected. Okay, so we went ahead and got our hood popped. We're going to go ahead and lift this up, take a look under here. And what we're going to be doing is come up here to the passenger side, and you can see there's a bracket right here. Just look right down below that. It's going to be your alternator. Now we are going to have to get the belt off. Now it's possible that we could get this tensioner from the top up here, but it's usually not that easy. If you can see right down there where that tensioner is, we got to get a 3/8 square in that to be able to get it. It's pretty hard to do from up top, so we really need to get underneath to do it. So we're going to work on that right now. Okay, you want to get this wheel off. Now you want to position your jack about here, and get you a jack stand back here. I'm going to go ahead and pop this off, and then we'll work on getting our lugs off here so we can get this wheel off. Now I should probably tell you, before you go to trying to take this belt off, they got a special little bar that has like a little 3/8 square on it, just like this little wrench. I got this from Harbor Freight. It has a 1/4 inch on one side, a 3/8 on the other. It's really low profile. It works perfectly. It ratchets, it swivels, and if you don't have one of these, you're going to have to get that little bar, but it's really long and you'll have to cut it down as well to be able to get here and do this. But you'll need that to be able to get this belt off, so I just thought I would throw that out there before we got the wheel off, because you're going to need to get that. Okay, we're just going to be using a 19mm to remove these lugs here. Okay, you got this plastic little shroud to remove. You got a bunch of various little snaps. You got to pull these up and pop the other part off. You got some up here. Supposed to be a bolt right there. Looks like it's missing. Supposed to be another one under here. Looks like it's missing. And then we got a couple up here to take out in these locations up here. So then we can take that piece off. Okay, so this piece has a few snaps to pull back, and there's a couple little hidden ones up in here that you have to get. You see that one up there? It's preventing me from pulling this down, so I'm going to pop that out. And really, I probably have it enough, but I just want it plumb out of the way here so I can do something. Okay, so I got that one up there finally. It's kind of tricky to get to these up in here because they're hard to get at, but you don't have to put the difficult ones back on. When you put this back, it's really not necessary. There's plenty enough to hold it. So we'll just work this on out. We got that out of the way. This is pulled back. Now I can get under here to this tensioner. As you can see, we come from under here. If I can get in a position here. Come from under here, you can see the right there. Maybe you can see it. Right up in. You see the little square right there. It's kind of hard to show you. It's right about there. That's where that's at, where we got to get a hold of. But this right here works nicely. Said you can get this from Harbor Freight. I know you probably can find them anywhere else too, but it works nicely because it ratchets and everything. Okay, so you just lay under here and you can look and see where to position it, and you pull it back towards the front of the vehicle and just pop it off there. So we got that loose, and I'm just going to leave that there for now. I don't need to completely remove it. However, it looks like we're due for a belt on this thing. Okay, so we can come up here and remove this belt from the top now. And the first thing I'm going to do, got like a lift point right here, this brace, and it's going to wind up getting in my way. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, so I'm just using a 13mm to take this little bracket loose, and it comes off real easy. Once you get that loose with this bolt, we'll just pull this bracket up here out of the way. We're going to need this extra room, along with moving a few other things. I can just take that and set it up here for now. And we've got 3 bolts on this alternator here, and we also got a wire and another connector. There should be a cover on that 10mm or whatever that is, maybe a 12 or something. Should be a cover on that, but it's not on there. Looks like it didn't get replaced. So anyways, the connector there, all you do is squeeze and that pulls right off. Okay, so I'll try to show you when I get this out of it. You just squeeze on that connector at the back and it pops right off. And I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what size that wire is, the power wire there. I think that's a 12. Okay, that's actually a 13 millimeter. Just go ahead and take that loose and slip that off. If you have the little cover on there, you just pop that little cover back out of the way so you can get to this. Okay, there's that 13 millimeter. That was extremely tight. I don't know if yours will be quite that tight. So now we just got to slip that wire off there at this point. Slip that up and off of that stud. And there's that off the way. Now, let's say we got two of these 13 millimeters up top, and there's one down on the bottom. I don't think I can even show you, but it's down underneath, if you can see it down there. And we need to get all three of these. So the one on the bottom is a little more difficult. These up here are very easy to get to. Okay, the bottom bolt is going to be the most difficult one for you. And I've laid it down somewhere. I don't know where I've laid it. Just one second. Okay, so here's the bottom bolt there. We got that out. The top ones are very easy to get to. As you can see, we got this one loose. I'm just working on getting the last one over here on this side. Once you get them loose, they're really easy to move. Now it's not going to just fall through there. Another thing I had to do, I took my pick tool and pried this up. We've got a prop under here to help hold it. We're going to need to take this loose. This is going to get in the way. And we're going to lift it. You could also hook a cord, a strap, some wire, whatever, to help you pull it up through here. We're going to be pulling it right up through here. We'll just wiggle it. And I think we may have to remove this here. If we do, looks like it's already been unbolted. If we do, we'll just pop that off of there. Okay, I got the old one out. All I did was pop this side up of this and I just pulled the air hose out of the way. I was able to get it right up through here. So I just popped this one side up and out, but you just turn it and you got plenty of room to come right up through this area right here, just right up under that. So I just brought it over here and got it right up. Okay, now this is the replacement. I know this one is good. It's not uncommon. You may smell some burning coming from your alternator. So this one here with the orange writing is the replacement. And I got this when I was at the salvage yard getting a bunch of other things. So yeah, it was pretty cheap to get this. Less than $20 for it, even with the core. So definitely, can save some money if you've got a salvage yard where you can get one of these. And it come off of another HHR like the same year, so they're exactly the same. So I'm just going to try to work this back down in here, just like I took it out. I'm going to lift this cover up a little bit. Like I said, you can see I just removed this, popped this cover up on this side. Took this loose, got it propped up. Definitely want to have a prop because the one won't hold it unless they're new. And I'm just going to work it right back down into place here, and we'll start working on getting our bolts in, and hopefully we'll get this belt pop back on here and get it tested out. Make sure it's going to be all good. Okay, you're going to orient it back in there like so, where you got that facing up, and then for your connector. And I was going to try to show you that connector, but basically all you do is squeeze in. Here's the connector. You just push in on that one side and it lifts that up where it pops up. You can see that lifting up. It won't focus, but That's all there is to that, and it pulls right off there. Very simple. So I'm just getting ready to work it back into place here, and I'll start putting my bolts in. Okay, so I was just using my little small 13 millimeter to snug those down. I just switched over to a little bit bigger one to tighten them up. And I'm just getting ready to reconnect these connectors down here. The one just pushes right in. It's pretty hard to show you, but it just snaps right in. We'll slip this one. I actually found the cover to that. It slipped down on that wire. There it is. So I will slip that back on there just to kind of protect that from anything hitting it and creating a short circuit. So I'm just going to snug this 13 millimeter nut down for that, and we'll pop this back onto that, and that's all there is as far as that goes. Very simple, really, getting this alternator in. Okay, so we just went ahead and slipped that belt back on. We're going to leave the cover off down there for now because I'm going to have to replace that belt. We're going to go ahead and put our little lift piece back into place here, and we'll just go ahead and fasten this back down. And there may be a few attachments to take loose before you pop yours up. It looks like most of them are missing on here. I'm just going to put this back into the air hole here. It just slips right in there like that. Okay, we'll go ahead and pop this back into place here. Okay, now the most important thing before we go to putting this wheel back on or doing anything else, we want to check this thing out, and I've got it cranked up and running. I did have to reconnect the negative, but now you can come back here and you can see that's a beautiful sight. We've got 14.3 volts coming out of there now, so we know this is charging. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my old battery back in once I get it charged up a little bit, and everything will be fine. I think the battery's still going to be good. Hopefully it didn't damage it too much. Now it can, if a battery gets run down too many times, it can damage. You may have to replace it. So it's a beautiful sight. We got this thing fixed. Very easy to replace this. Definitely replaced a lot worse alternators, and I could smell a little burning from that old one too when I got under the hood. So anyways, only thing we got to do now, like I said, if got that cover off, you'll want to go ahead and use your little plastic rivets and put that back. I'm going to leave it off for the time being. I'm just going to put my wheel back on because I need to get another belt, and I'll be having to take that back off again if I don't. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video, and I hope that you found it helpful. And if you did, please give the video a like, and as always, I invite you to subscribe, and I thank you for watching.